everyone, welcome back to Ardolino's kitchen.
Where we are cooking
With family!
Today we're going to be making homemade ricotta cheese. Now we first moved to Texas in 2011, which is almost 10 years ago. Went to make homemade lasagna, and when we came from the Northeast, very used to going to a local Italian market. Pretty much every corner has one, and you would go and you buy fresh ricotta and mozzarella cheese and you'd make your dishes. Well, come to Texas, they really don't have that. So I first tried to buy the stuff that you find in the regular dairy aisle, and that really didn't turn out too well. Doesn't taste right, it was just horrible. So decided to learn how to make our own. And surprisingly, it only takes about 10 minutes to make homemade ricotta cheese. It's absolutely delicious. It tastes nothing like what you would buy in the dairy aisle. It's very versatile. You can use it for lasagna, use it for rollatini. You can make homemade cannolis, tortellini. What else we make? Cheesecake. Very good. So I'm going to show you how to make homemade ricotta cheese today. So we're going to start off with our pot, and we're going to add whole milk and heavy cream. Now it's very important that you use whole milk and heavy cream because you need the fat content. Now what's going to happen is the milk, as you cook it, is going to separate into curds and, ready, our word of the day? I'm going to show everybody home first, and then we're going to ask Anna to present it.
Whey.
Whey, okay. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey, right? Whey is the liquid that separates out when the curds form. And we're going to do that after we cook the milk. We're going to add some white wine vinegar and then let it sit, and that'll allow the curds and whey to separate. The whey is also very useful. So you can take that whey, and it's great for making soups or sauces. We once made a broccoli cheese soup from it, so don't throw it out. You can use it for other things. All right, so let's get started making our ricotta cheese. First, we're going to do, now I have a 2-to-1 ratio, right? This is half a gallon or 2 quarts to 1 quart of heavy cream. Now I normally don't buy 4 of these, usually buy the quart, but they didn't have it today at the grocery store, so I just bought 4 of those. All right, so we're going to start by pouring all the milk into the pot.
All?
Yep. Okay. Now this is going to make approximately 2 cups of fresh ricotta cheese. So that is half a gallon or 2 quarts. So now we add our heavy cream. So let's start opening that up, Anna. And this will be 1 quart. Okay, so we'll just pour all of this in. Do you need help?
No, when you like have these at school.
Like the school milk? Yeah, it does look like the school milk, right? Okay, if you need help, I can help you.
This one doesn't
All right,
like me.
I'll grab this one. Boy, I don't know what you did here, but okay, we got it. Okay, heavy cream. Boy, you're having a really difficult time there.
I know.
Is that what happens in school every day?
No.
Oh, how come you can open them in school?
I don't know.
Oh. All right, well, we will improvise. Just tore the top off, and we'll pour that heavy cream into the pot. Now, the only other ingredient we need here is salt. So we need 2 teaspoons of salt, and then I'm going to get a spoon so we can stir all of this together. Okay, so, got some salt on the table.
Oopsie.
That's fine.
1.
Remember how I said is expect a mess when cooking with kids? Easy to clean up.
2.
All right, so we're going to stir the salt in just to make sure that it's blended into the milk and the cream. And that's pretty much it. We're going to take this and we're going to put it on the stove over a medium heat, and we're going to let it come to a boil. Now, what's well, if you've ever boiled milk before or heated milk before, and if you don't watch it, what you realize is that it will bubble and overflow. So the trick here is you do have to watch that pot, and you want to make sure that you take the milk off the heat as soon as it starts to see it to rise. What we'll do is we'll record that a little later when that's happening. It's going to take 5 or 10 minutes for that milk to heat up. Okay, so now let's prep our straining to make our cheese. To do that, we're going to need a bowl to catch the whey, we're going to need a strainer, and then we're going to need our cheesecloth. You can find this in your local grocer. Typically, well, in our store, it's located where all the kitchen gadgets are, but it's just plain old cheesecloth. What I like to do is separate it out. I don't need all of this, but we're going to open it up, and you want to, oops. Usually about, well, in this one, it's 3 squares. So I'm going to cut enough for 3 squares. Essentially what you want is you want enough to cover the top of the strainer and drape over a little bit, okay? So that's approximately how much you need. Now we do want to open this up. Okay. Now oftentimes what happens is the cheesecloth is rectangular, it's not square. So now that's a little big, but that's okay. You want to lay it down on top. Actually, we're going to put 2 pieces on. Oops, there's actually, still didn't pull it up. Okay. Yeah, so this is plenty big. All right, so let's do this. Let's cut this in half. We're just going to lift this up. We're going to cut this in half. All right, and what we're going to do is lay 2 pieces, one on top of another. So I'll do the first one, Anna, and then you do the second one. So lay this on top. And just lay it straight across. Then Anna, you lay the other one on top. And if it's not square, if it's rectangular, this is where, it'll get a little stuck. This is where you can crisscross them so that the 2 long pieces go the opposite ways on the strainer. And then just take your hand slightly and push it down. You want to make sure that the cheesecloth completely covers the inside of the strainer, right? You don't want the cloth to, because when you pour the liquid in, you don't want the thing to pull the cloth in and then the cheese is not sitting in the cloth. Okay, so that gives us our base to make the cheese. As soon as that milk is done, so that'll probably be another 5 minutes. I do recommend stirring it every so often because as that milk is heating up, if you just leave it on the bottom, even with a non-stick pot, what'll happen is the cheese will actually the milk will start to stick to the bottom of the pot, and then when you stir it, you'll get little brown bits in the cheese, and you really don't want that. So just occasionally stir it, and then like I said, just watch it until it's ready and it starts to actually rise up. All right, so as soon as that happens, we'll take a little break, and we'll come right back, and we'll show you the rest of the recipe. All right, so this is just about to rise. I'm going to record this until it actually happens so you can see it. You can see the milk is really starting to bubble. See how it's starting to come up, and there it goes. It starts rising. I'm shutting off the heat. Now it will continue to rise. I'm just going to lift it up off the heat, off the hot element, and now we're ready for the next step. Okay, so our milk has just risen. It is now time to add the white wine vinegar. Now this is what's actually going to help the cheese, the curds and the whey separate.
Here I am.
Hey Andy. All right, so we're going to put 6 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. Now it's also important the type of white wine vinegar that you use. Let me show them what. I like the Colavita brand. This flavor of this white wine vinegar is going to make it into the cheese. So you want to make sure you pick a decent white wine vinegar. I think this one is reasonably priced. There are other ones that are cheaper, but the cheese is not going to taste as good. So splurge a little bit on the white wine vinegar. All right, so let's put 6 tablespoons. Let's move this out of the way. You want to do 3 and 3?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Andy, you go first. Why are we using vinegar?
So we are using the white wine vinegar to separate the whey from the curds. It's actually going to cause the milk to separate. Why don't you do it over the pot? Yeah, so fill that up to the top.
You do it, Dana. Yeah.
Well, you guys can help each other. So, oops, that's all right. 1,
2, 3.
2. Well, we have enough. 3. And then you're going to switch.
Yeah.
Okay, over the pot. Okay. 4. That one was a little shallow, Andy. Go all the way to the top. 5. Looks like we'll just have enough over the pot. Okay, perfect. 6. Okay, so now put it all in. All right, so now just stir it in, mix it together. Really distribute that vinegar throughout the milk and the cream. And then that's it. We are going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. And that will allow after it separates, right? We want to give it a chance, the vinegar, to do its magic, right? So we want the vinegar to separate the curds in the whey, and then after about 10 minutes, and that will allow it to cool down as well, then we're going to pour it into our strainer.
And why are we using this?
I think we took it out and realized we didn't need it because the milk was all pre-measured. It was all in the right, so we can actually put that away. Okay, we'll be right back. That we heated has been sitting with the white wine vinegar for about 10 minutes. So now it's ready to strain into our cheesecloth. So we have our cheesecloth apparatus that we made before, and I'm just gonna very slowly do this. Now I normally would do this over a sink, but since I wanna show you, I'm gonna do this right on the countertop. All right, so this does have a tendency to splatter a little bit, so just go really slowly. That's okay.
It's splattering me.
I know, it will splatter. And you could see the curds, and all that liquid is the whey. Okay, so we're just going to very slowly pull it in. You want to make sure you're using a strainer that is large enough to hold and accommodate all of this liquid. Now, most of the whey is going to drain into that bowl. And is it hot? All right, I'm sorry, sweetie, we're almost done. That's going to drain into that bowl, but that's going to take some time. Now, what I recommend is you're going to take this, just going to take your cheesecloth and just turn it in on top. You don't have to press it or anything. Last step, we're going to put this in the fridge for about 40 minutes. And when it's done, we're going to have homemade ricotta cheese. What'd you say, Anna?
It smells good.
It smells really good? That's what I heard you say. You just didn't say it loud enough so people could hear you.
Yeah.
Does it smell good, Andy?
It smells really good.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It smells like string cheese.
Smells like string cheese? Well, ricotta and mozzarella are very similar. All right, so we'll be back in about 40 minutes.
Bye.
So our ricotta cheese has been sitting in the fridge for about 45, 50 minutes. I know I said 40, but what you want to make sure when you take it out of the fridge is that the cheese is cool to the touch, right? Now, if you're going to save this, what we're going to do is we'll put this in a Tupperware. I'm going to put this in a glass bowl so you can just see it.
When are we going to taste it?
You want to taste it? All right, let's get it out of the cheesecloth and let's get it into the glass bowl first. Okay, so,
I'm just going to taste it.
all right, we're going to lift it up out of the bowl so you can see now I have a big thing of cheese. And we're going to turn this over and then put that in the bowl. And then we'll just lift this out. Now, if you want, you can squeeze the rest of the cheese out of the cheesecloth. Most of it should come out pretty thin. There will still be maybe a little water in there. If you want, you can strain that out. It's not going to hurt anything. Strain that out. Okay.
Anna, you
All
try
right.
it first.
And now, all right, so I will tell you that for some reason my kids are not big fans of ricotta cheese. So their expression may be not what you expect, but I promise you, when I put it in things, they absolutely love it. So, all right, I'm gonna try it first. Delicious. Very good.
Anna.
Yeah, okay. Now remember, it's cheese.
I know.
Okay.
You like it? It tastes like tortellinis.
Well, that's what's in the tortellini, right? All right, go ahead, Andy. Taste a little bit. Do not put that spoon back in there.
Taste is weird.
All right. Well, I think it's wonderful. Okay.
I don't
So-
think it tastes the same.
Okay. And that's pretty much it. If you're going to make something like lasagna, I recommend using it at this point because the cheese is still a little warm. It makes it very easy to spread. But you can put this in the fridge. You can store this for I would say 4 or 5 days tops. So you do want to use it up, but for making lasagna, it's perfect as it is. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you can see us next time. Next week, we'll be making homemade lasagna. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Bye.